Let's now cross to Newzroom Afrika's Katleho Sekhotho, who's covering the Civil Aviation Industry Awards in Sandton, Johannesburg. The awards are held to honor those who've shown innovation and excellence in the sector. Katleho, good evening and thank you so much for joining us. I mean, it's a night of glitz and glamour for the civil aviation industry. What are some of the highlights that have come out so far from the ceremony?
Certainly, Katleho, it is an evening of celebration of those who play a pivotal role in the aviation industry. Now, you know, what's become very clear is that South Africa and the continent really is doing very well in terms of the safety, research, development in the aviation sector. And really, you know, there's a lot of gains which have been made from a local perspective, but also overall across Africa. But I don't want to say more because Minister of Transport, Minister Sindisiwe Chikunga, spoke very well about how we're doing. Minister, such awards, it's the third installment, celebrating people in aviation. Why is it important that we have such awards?
It is important. First, aviation in South Africa will be a national sector, but it is operating at an international level. And it operates in accordance with the standards and recommended practices that are set by the International Civil Aviation Organization. So sure, you must comply not only with the national requirement, legislations or prescripts, but also the international one. And in that sphere, therefore, we're doing very well. Like I was indicating, when it comes to aviation safety, we are number one in the continent and amongst the top 20 in the world because of the ICAO audit that puts us at at 91.11%. And that is a distinction by any standards. And us to retain that is important, to sustain that performance is important. And it is this industry that gives us that. It is the regulator that sets the standards, regulating those, ensuring that people comply, ensuring that people do what they're supposed to do, or checking them and monitoring them. But it is also them who do the right thing. And that is why then we are here to celebrate that. So here we're celebrating excellence in the aviation sector. We are actually saying there is a woman out there who might think, I will never be in an aircraft, but she benefits because, and from a tourist who come to South Africa in our airspace, airlines, and they land in South Africa, and they go and buy that bid from that woman, and that woman, benefit as a result. So when it comes to aviation safety, which is very crucial, you can't be up there and not be assured that you're going to arrive at your destination. South Africa says, definitely you'll arrive at your destination. As a matter of fact, they say aviation is the safest mode of transport. Yes. But also your aviation security is very important because you may actually be traveling, but inside there might be a bomb in the aircraft. For South Africa, therefore, to perform at the level at which we are, it says you are not just safe, but you are also secured in the aviation space. And I think that for us is very important. And these people that are here make that possible. But they're also bringing innovation now, so that it's not just that old airport, for instance. I always remind people that we once have a DF Malan airport. I think you don't even know that because you're young. We once have a Jan Smart airport. I don't know you know that. We once have whatever other airports. But today we have OR Tambo, which was Jan Smart airport. We have Cape Town airport, which was DF Malan airport. We have we have Durban King Shaka airport, which was Louis Botha airport. We've moved and we have transformed. At a speed that we want, definitely we can do better. But people that are here will also be awarded for transforming the aviation sector.
Certainly. Now, Minister, if we're doing so well, where do the challenges lie? Is there any space or any places in aviation that we still need to strengthen?
Definitely. The transformation is the first one. It's not easy to transform the sector, but we're getting there. When it comes to air traffic controllers, we now are there. When it comes to our entities, for instance, those that are owned by the state, they are led by 3 women who are doing an exceptionally good job. But of course, we still have challenges in as far as your pilots. We're not where we want to be, worse with women, worse with black people, but we are actually doing something about it. And that is why, for instance, last year we sent 5 to France to train. 4 came with the highest qualification as pilots. And this year we've sent again back to France 8. And we're hoping that they will come back. The 4 that came back, they already are employed. And we're happy about that. We're trying to use whatever other avenues that are there for us to transform the sector. We have, for instance, we gave Vets University a bursary for the aeronautical engineering students, so that we can have them as South Africans, but also coming from the most rural part of South Africa. We're not doing well in that regard, and we have said we've got to revisit our strategy and probably the criteria, because I think it's a difficult course. And some children coming from the rural areas, having never seen a library, having never seen a laboratory, they find it difficult to adjust. If somebody is going to fail 4 times, it becomes a problem. So I've said to the department that let them visit that as to whether it's working for us, because we definitely want to transform that sector as well. So yes, we're getting there slowly, but when it comes to our airlines, for instance, they're very compliant. And if they don't in any event, we don't beg them, because we ground them. We have the regulator that if you're not doing your job, you don't have people that must check the safety of your aircraft. Them being airworthy, they ground them, as simple as all that. So they know and they respect the regulator, and that is why we're happy about it.
Certainly. And just a last one, Minister, in terms of the relationship, the general public with the aviation sector, if, the layman who doesn't understand the work that goes behind putting a plane in the sky and making sure that it's safe, and the research, the development, like you spoke about, the mentorship through the years, what would your message be to the general public in how they understand and relate to the aviation industry?
Just every year we celebrate what we refer to as International Civil Aviation Day, ICAD. We go out to the most rural part of South Africa. We bring school children together. We tell them about the professions and the careers in the aviation sector. If possible, we bring some aircrafts. We're going to East London this year in December. I think on the 12th of December, we will actually have the air show. And before it is air show, we ask children to go into the aircraft and see it, even if they will not fly, but they just for them to see what an aircraft is. And we are saying to the people, there are opportunities, there are careers, there are choices that we can make in the aviation sector. And exactly what I was saying earlier on, that even if you may not directly board an aircraft, but there is a tourist who comes to South Africa, and you're going to benefit out of that tourist buying your craft, your whatever.
Certainly. Thank you so much for your time, Minister.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Katleho, you heard it there from the Minister of Transport, giving, very elaborate details about the ways in which the aviation sector in South Africa continues to grow, and that there continues to be development from a mentorship perspective, but also just recognizing the number of gains that have already been made in terms of transformation, research, and overall development.
Right, that was Newzroom Africa's Katleho Sekhotho out at the Civil Aviation Industry Awards, giving us an update there and speaking to the Minister